The era of Thundercharge of Ultra Destruction is perhaps the most well documented in English Duel Masters history. Due to the sheer number of regional scale tournaments between the Invitation Circuit and the Tournament of Five Civilizations, tournament-winning deck lists are plentiful. Combine that with the fact that the 2005 Continental Championships was quickly approaching, and net decking became more prevalent than ever before. Some rogue decks did manage to take home some invites, but Dark Water Fire control decks end up taking the majority of the top spots in the metagame. Newly released Apocalypse Vise and Hopeless Vortex were the icing on the cake for an already dominant archetype.
In this series, both Michael and myself will be taking you on a journey through time. Each episode we will look at a time in Duel Masters past, showcasing the evolution of the metagame as new sets are released. Using real decks from that time, we will play a best 2 out of 3 match to relive the game as it once was. This is the history of Duel Masters. Welcome back, everybody, to the History of Duel Masters. Today's episode is going to be really interesting because we are in Thundercharge of Ultra Destruction. This was a very special time in Duel Masters history because this was the announcement of the very first Invitation Circuit tournament. For the first time ever, we have major tournaments going around all over North America that are not the Tournament of Five Civilizations. So what does this mean? This means that this is possibly the most well-documented era in the whole history of Duel Masters. Not only do we have deck lists from the Tournament of Five Civilizations that happened for Thundercharge, but we also have tournaments from the Invitation Circuit, which qualified people to compete at the 2005 Continental Championships in Los Angeles. Because of that, we have a lot of deck lists to work with, and a lot of different decks are winning tournaments at the time. The meta is actually quite varied.
Dark Water Fire control, same as we've talked about before, and as I already mentioned, it does get Apocalypse Vise in this set, which is just a pretty big power boost. Water Nature Liquid Beasts is still around, and it's still a pretty good deck. Fire Darkness Rush is also still around. It is a bit better than the last time that we've seen this deck in the history of Duel Masters because, as I said about Fire Rush last week, we do have Rikaboo the Dismantler as well as Pyrofighter Magnus right now, so this deck is just a lot quicker than it was before, and as a result, just generally a lot more playable. Next we have Black, Blue, Green control. This is basically like the old Water Dark control decks, but people were experimenting with nature in order to add cards like Bronze Arbitrage, and in particular Cryptic Totem I think was one of the major draws to play in this archetype. It never saw quite the success that Dark Water Fire control did, but it still achieved a series of respectable results and was played by a lot of people. Water Dark control is same as it's been before. It does get Hopeless Vortex now, which is quite useful for this deck in particular, which is always looking for more removal options, but overall pretty much the same strategy that it was before. Hydro Hurricane is also still around. These are those like Water Dark Light control decks that I was playing 2 episodes ago, I think. The lists still look pretty much the same. It's the same general idea, but these have seen some pretty good results. And then lastly, we have a bit of an interesting one. This is Fall Iga control, which is basically Dark Water Fire control, but also running light, in particular for access to Fall Iga Dawn Guardian, which lets you recycle your powerful spells over and over throughout the game. This is an interesting one because it wasn't really played that often except for one person, Christina Page, also known as Cecil Dill on Pojo. And she took Fall Iga control in various forms to a lot of successful results, despite the fact that pretty much no one else was playing this. And over time, not in this set, but like 2 or 3 sets down the line, this became pretty much like a top meta contender. So it's pretty interesting, in my opinion, that this deck is seeing results as early as now, and the one person who had faith in this archetype was really seeing it through and still achieving results with it even now, probably before everyone else caught on to how powerful this deck really was.
What do we want to spin on this wheel? To be honest, like, this meta is so cool. I wouldn't care about almost any of these decks. The only thing we want to not do is double spin Fire Darkness Rush, so we're going to do everything we can to not get that.
Other than that, I think Hydro Hurricane is just really fun and really cool, so that would be nice. Ball control is cool. Dark Water Fire control is awesome, but like it kind of becomes the meta staple for a long time, so I'd rather get something a little bit different just to keep some variety. Bug control is actually kind of sick, so I kind of want to spin that. I don't think it's the best deck on the wheel, but it's a fun one for sure. Let's just spin it and see what we get. We got 2 spins. We lost last week. So what are we going to get on our first spin? Bug control? All right, we're going to play black, blue, green control. Let's get it.
Honestly, I don't really know what I'm spinning for. Most of these I'm probably fine with. I'll try and get something that I haven't played before. But yeah, let's just give this a few spins and see what we get. Black, blue, green control. I don't think it's the strongest deck, but I do think it's a bit different than some of the other ones I've played so far, which is kind of more what I want, quite honestly. I do have 2 more respins, but yeah, well, let's play this. Let's play black, blue, green control, see how this turns out.
This is the deck I will be bringing to today's duel. This deck was piloted by Steven Cantrell to a first place finish at the Invitational Circuit Qualifier in Georgia. Steven Cantrell was the top rated player in Georgia at the time and was kind of winning a lot of their events. And luckily for us, he was writing a lot of tournament reports too, so we were able to get a nice insight into like what kind of decks he was building and like how he was playing those decks as well. For this tournament, he busted out the bug control. Now, why is it called bug control? Well, that's because it's just an acronym of the colors, which is B for black, U for blue, and G for green. Now, you can't use like black and blue is 2 Bs, so like blue just gets delegated to U because that's unique about it. So it's blue, black, green, control.
And the thing, in my opinion, which separates this from other control lists is 2 things. First off, we have Cryptic Totem as our finisher, and Cryptic Totem is a card with a pretty powerful effect. Basically, when it's tapped, your opponent cannot use the shield trigger ability of their shields at all. And so what this means is that once you get enough creatures to swing for game, if this is one of the creatures you have on the board, you can just immediately swing with all your creatures without fear of shield triggers because, as I just said, they can't use them. So this is just really scary to face, and it's just really good at closing out the game efficiently with no risk to yourself. Second off, because we're running nature, we also have access to mana ramp cards. And this is quite useful for 2 reasons. First off, we can just ramp into our Cryptic Totem and finish out the game quickly if we have a hand that lets us do that. Because, I mean, we do have, like, bunch of 3-drops, some 4-drops, and 5-drops, so we can actually get off to some pretty aggressive starts if the cards line up right, and then dropping Cryptic Totem can just end the game quickly. Also, we are running Lost Soul down here, where I had to scroll down a bit to see it, but Lost Soul is a really important card in control mirror matches specifically, and because we're running all this mana ramp and can play this card sooner than we otherwise could if we were not running mana ramp, that can give us a bit of an edge in control mirrors sometimes.
So let's just go through the card by card and talk about this deck. So first of all, we have 3 copies of Emerald. This is really important because we are rocking 4 copies of Illusionary Merfolk, so we want to get as many Cyberlords in there as we can. However, it can be like a hand clog in the late game, so we ideally just want to get this early and mid, and then start setting up our shields with a lot of shield triggers, which we'll get to later. We could go up to 4, but I'm just playing the deck as is. This is the exact deck that he used, and he decided to run 3, so we're going to be running 3. Our early game blocker lineup is just 3 Bloody Squeedos. Now, you could go higher on the blockers, and a lot of the decks at the time did, but I think this deck, specifically because of how many shield triggers it's running, it didn't really need the blockers that much, because anything aggressive is just going to be hurting itself by just hitting these shield triggers that are going to just put you right back in the game, and so we're not really too worried about stuff going in early. However, there is a lot of decks running around with things like Phasgazeal Dragons, Bolmedia Steel Dragons. The Evos are still around, so like we gotta be able to block some double breakers and powerful attacks. So Bloody Squeedo is still pretty good. Aqua Hulkus, if you're playing water, you're playing this card, it's insane. Bronze Arm Tribe, if you're playing nature, you're playing this card, it's insane. We got 2 Thrash Crawlers just to help us get stuff back from the mana zone, and also just to be another blocker. Usually I feel like Thrash Crawler is good when you're running a lot of 1-ofs, which we aren't doing. but it just makes it so you can just like play things to mana that you don't need in the early game, knowing that you can get them back. 4 copies of Locomotiver just for like the early game discard, as well as being a shield trigger creature is really nice to have. 4 Core Isle, just a Cyber Lord, remove something from the board, set them back on their draw. One of the most powerful cards in the game, and also it's just a really good tempo card. This deck can kind of play as like a tempo, and it can kind of play as a control, so you're a little bit flexible. So just imagine like if your opening hand you have like Emerald into Bronze Arm Tribe into Core Isle. If they put out a blocker and then you Core Isle it, you can just like keep going in, and if you can follow that up with a Merfolk, you're going to be looking really pretty. Also, just on top of that, like we said, there's the Bomediuses running around. You got to get rid of them, and Core Isle is a fantastic way to do so. 4 copies of Illusionary Merfolk. This card is just absolutely insane when you're running like this kind of mid-range tempo-y stuff. You get to draw 3 cards, replenish your hand with just stuff to help deal with things on the board, while also just putting down more and more threats. 2 Cryptic Totem is like kind of the finisher. I do think this could have maybe been more, but like to be honest, it can kind of clog your hand at times, because it is a little bit situational. It doesn't have that kind of come into play effect, so it is kind of just screaming to be Core Isled or Terror Pitted right away, so it's not the best. However, it is very powerful at ending the game and putting pressure on the opponent, so we have to include at least 2 copies of it. We're going to be running 2 Fairy Life. I feel like this is a card that you don't really want to be hard casting that much unless your hand has like a very specific progression. But it's really good if it's in your shields and you're up against a rush deck, because it's going to help you get to your things to deal with their rush a lot sooner. 2 copies of Energy Stream. It's a great way to draw cards, but ideally in this deck, because it's more of a mid-rangey deck, we do want to be putting things on the field rather than necessarily just drawing cards. So in general, like Aqua Hulkuses and Bronze Arm Tribes are going to be the stronger turn 3 play. Unless we go first and we're low on cards in hand, then we're going to want to replenish the hand anyways. For Mana Nexus, this is going to be super fun. In the past, Michael set up some crazy Mana Nexus shenanigans against me, and I'm hoping to do the same against him today. Which also, we are splashing 4 copies of Holy Awe, which like, that's going to be really good, especially with these Mana Nexus, because like, we could set that up, and we should have pretty decent shield triggers every single game, between being able to hard cast the Mana Nexus, these just naturally being in your shields. We got the Emerald to set stuff up, so it's going to be really good. It's my first time playing Holy Awe in the history of Duel Masters, I think, and it's just a super good card. It's also like, even though it is just a splash, there are times that you can hard cast it to just get through blockers and just set up a way for you to get in and end the game, so that's pretty cool too. 4 Terror Pits, pretty straightforward, very powerful spot removal, and of course, 2 Lost Souls. This is gonna be really good, like if you go for like a little bit of early aggression, they get a lot of cards in their hand, and then you just bam, knock it all out right away before they have a chance to do anything. If I'm up against another control deck that is running Lost Souls, we do have the Bronze Arm Tribes and the Fairy Lives, so we can reach it faster than they can, but we just have to be a little bit careful about using up all the cards in our hand too quickly, because if we just bank on using that 1 Lost Soul and we get down to like 1 card in hand, we could just get Locomotivered and then it's all pointless anyways.
So anyways, yeah, that's the deck. As I said during the wheel spin, I do think this is slightly worse than Fire, Water, Dark control, but this is still a pretty solid deck in its own right, and I think it would be fun to play this and just see how it does. So let's get into the games and see what happens.
Welcome everybody to episode number 7, Thundercharge of Ultra Destruction. What do you think about this set, Michael?
The set is a bit of an interesting one, actually. So, like, it doesn't add that many cards, but the cards it does add that people use are pretty good cards. Like,
yeah.
Apocalypse Vise is a huge deal.
Oh, it's insane. And then, like, you also have Cryptic Totem. You've got, what else was in this set? I mean...
we've got Hopeless Vortex.
Hopeless Vortex. That was the other big one. I knew I was forgetting one.
It doesn't really catch on right away, but I think Propeller Mutant is in this set also.
Yep, yeah, he's definitely in there. It like
and Coop Pollen, which you can't attack.
Oh god.
Pollen if
you cannot do that. No, you can't do that. But the thing that I love about this set, specifically for the history of Duel Masters, is that this is the era that had not only the 5 Civilizations tournament, but it had the majority of the Invitation Circuit qualifiers. So like, for this specific episode, we've had more deck lists to look at than literally like every other episode thus far. So we have like probably the clearest idea of what the metagame actually looked like at the time. So this might be one of the most historically accurate matchups to date.
Yeah, and I mean also, like, the deck lists we have are like, oh, this won an invitation circuit, which
like
looks
every
a lot
single deck
better
is winners
on a resume than like second at a local in Kansas or something.
Yeah. Or even just like, here's a deck that somebody posted that was referenced in like multiple tournament reports. So it might have looked like that, but we don't really know what the real tournament deck looked like. Anyways, I'm gonna load my deck in, and then we are going to do a little bit of thing called rolling the dice. Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, roll. Yes, dude. I don't know what it is. In history, I'm just a god roller, and in progression series, you're the god roller. So let's see. How hefty of a deck?
I have
jeez.
Bad news, Ben.
Oh, jeez.
We've both got the same number of cards here.
And this is a time where we are using exact deck lists, so... Alright, this is gonna be interesting.
I actually almost didn't. I thought about kind of combining a few, but no, I am using an exact deck list. So do we have the 48 card mirror?
I think we might have it. We might actually have it. I'm gonna go second.
Going credit, I think most of the decks want to go second in this meta.
This is a very control-oriented meta for sure.
Let's see what happens. I kind of hope this isn't a mirror match, but
in a like sick, twisted way, I almost hope it is a mirror match. I wouldn't be too upset about it, to be honest. Out of any mirror match, I wouldn't complain.
Well,
at least it wasn't a rush mirror match.
You're probably gonna have a pretty good idea, because I mean, assuming you're on control, I don't just hold on to Mana Nexus, so I'll send Mana Nexus to the Mana Zone, and you could go ahead.
I mean, even against rush, I'm not sure you do either.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna drop down the core isle, and you can go ahead.
Well,
oh man, this is it. Did we have a mirror match in the history yet? Not like a full mirror match, I don't think.
We had a mirror match in colors in episode 1, but the decks were like really different.
So yeah, that didn't even count.
Send Illusionary Merfolk to the Mana Zone, and I'll play Fairy Life.
Okay.
It in my third color, I like to see that, and it's a card I really don't want. So go ahead.
Alright, I'm gonna draw. Shoot. That's actually pretty interesting. I think I am just gonna give it away and put the Cryptic Totem down.
Okay, here we go.
And we are going to set down Shield 6 and pull up Shield 2 and end the turn.
Right, well, I'm pretty sure there's only one deck list that was doing this in the ones we had. But I will send Holy Awe to the Mana Zone.
I do believe there was only one deck that was doing Holy Awe.
The speed with which you said that does not.
That the confidence in which I said that.
About my chances, yeah.
I mean, if there was
of avoiding a mirror match.
Even if there was, like, to be the same number of cards and like everything so far matching up, it has to be a mirror match.
I'll pay 3 for Energy Stream. I'll just play a value game here. Go ahead.
Then I'm gonna draw a card. Merfolk to mana. Kind of a weird one. For Aqua Hulk.
Don't like to see Merfolk sent to the Mana Zone.
You're drawing up a Storm over there. I could go in. But do I want to? There's so many things I could give you. But you know what? Screw it.
I think this deck can go in pretty aggressively if it wants.
I think it all depends on your hand, to be honest. Like, it doesn't seem like you had one that could go in. But like, if I have the turn 2, turn 3, and can follow it up decently after that, I think it's not a bad play. I'd rather if I'm gonna hit, like, this deck has so many Terror Pits and like Holy Awe's and stuff, and like Mana Nexus. I'd rather just get it out of the way.
Yeah, that's a fair argument, actually. Well, I will send Bronze Arm Tribe to the Mana Zone, and I will play Bronze Arm Tribe.
Okay.
And next, I will play Aqua Hulkus.
Alright.
God, these cards are so good. Go ahead.
And you have so much mana now. Terror Pit to mana. 4 for Locomotiver. Can I hit anything good? And it's a Thrash Crawler. I don't mind seeing that, to be honest. You're only at 3 cards now. You could possibly Lost Soul me. You probably will Lost Soul me. So, like, if I figure you have Lost Soul, is it better for me to break and trade the guys? I think I'm just gonna end it. I'm not gonna risk it.
Yeah, guess I send Bloody Squeedo to mana, and You were right. We will play Lost Soul.
Yeah, that does kind of hurt a little bit.
Those are some good hits right there.
Yeah, you can kind of see why I was going in. Like there were good follow-ups at the ready.
Yeah, just the ramp is too good sometimes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I will leave you top decking with 4 mana. That's fine with me.
I think I just charged the Emerald and then I could like get you down to 1 shield or try to get you down to 1 shield, but I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, let's send Aqua Hulkus to mana, mainly so that I get more than 1 water mana.
Are we gonna get Emerald Merfolked?
No, you're gonna get Energy Streamed though.
Oh, okay. Energy Stream is not bad either. I mean, in this situation, like, it's kind of the best time to use it.
Isn't, like, best. I guess we'll Core Isle the Emerald.
Yeah, that...
Set you back a turn. Targeted is busted right now for some reason.
This video game?
Yes. Go ahead.
Alright, now I could play it back, or I could charge it. Honestly, there's not that much. You know what's in this deck, so I can talk about this. You know there's only 2 Cryptic Totems. They're both gone. What am I gonna top deck that needs 6 mana, like a Terror Pit? That doesn't do anything. I want my Cyberlord on the board. Go ahead.
That's a fair argument, actually.
I'd much rather be able to just drop down a Merfolk if I get it.
Oh, this is an interesting one. We're actually just going to pass.
What? Alright, I'm gonna draw. I mean, this helps get me to the 6 mana, which is not bad. Now, there's not really any board wipes in this deck, which kind of makes me want to go in. You have to trade your creatures back. You'd have a lot of stuff in hand. You have a lot of mana, but you can't really hold off on me for that much. If I have good shields, then I'm thinking like it might be worth just going in before you just get a Cryptic Totem and it's just over.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you're gonna have something for sure. I'm gonna wait 1 more turn. We'll see if I regret it. Or at least 1 more turn, rather. Depending on what I draw, things might change.
Well, I mean, let's just Core Isle again.
Okay.
I guess we hit the Emerald.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
And,
so
again, I'll still leave you top decking. Go ahead.
You're building up the board, and unfortunately the board is getting stronger than my board. I'm gonna run out the Emerald, and I'm gonna end the turn, and just hope I don't get 3rd Core Isled, I suppose. Although I guess even at this point, like, a Holy Awe is looking kind of gnarly, because you've got 2k creatures, and I've got 1k creatures.
This is not the best use of the card in the world, but I mean, I've got 4 cards, I may as well do something. We'll Terror Pit the Cyberlord.
I mean, I actually agree with that, because, like I said earlier, my Cryptic Totems are gone, and everything else in this deck is just a weenie anyways, so you may as well get rid of my chances of Merfolking back in.
What you just said about your position, the same thing applies to me also, and like, I guess you can still kill 2 of my creatures if I go in. Yeah, and I think there's too much stuff I can give you that I don't want to give you, so go ahead.
Okay, this is not what I was looking for. We're gonna run out a little blocker, I guess, which it could be worse, it could be worse.
Yeah.
I'll see what you got. This feels like a time bomb, just ending my turns, though. I don't know.
Pass again.
Alright, let's draw. Let's just charge the Fairy Life. I guess I could have cast it and hoped to get, like, I don't know, something in my mana that I could mana Nexus later. But I guess I can play it to mana after the fact. God, you have 4 cards in hand at this point. You know what? Screw it. I'm done. I'm going in.
Okay.
I have to do something, and this is a losing battle.
That's fine.
Just letting you do stuff with a 4-card hand.
That's fine too.
Alright, I feel like it may be paid off.
I mean, I guess we'll trigger the Locomotiver.
Yep, you got it.
You don't have anything to discard?
Yeah, my hands are empty. But a shield trigger creature is a shield trigger creature.
Right, we will send Terror Pit to mana. We will tap 2 for Emerald.
Emerald's so good when you're on last shield and you have a 5-card hand.
Set a card as shield 6 and pick up the other one.
Oh, that stinks.
That's a draw, right? Or not a draw, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
this actually isn't the card I picked up. It was just a card I'm pretty happy to have seen. Then we will Core Isle the Bloody
this feels bad. This feels real bad.
We will kill all your creatures with these guys.
Yep.
I'll have it so that you only had one 2K, right?
Yeah, I had the Bronze Arm Loco Aqua Hulkus.
Yeah, so then we'll do it so Aqua Hulkus swung into Aqua Hulkus, so then my Aqua Hulkus dies and the 2 Cyber Lords live. No, I wanna hold on to my Cyber Lords in case you kill the other 3 in a deck without
you never
fire.
know. In this deck without Searing Wave. Oh,
now the question is, do I go in or do I try to find Cryptic Totem?
I mean, you've got 21 cards in the deck. You haven't seen one yet.
What could I even give you that I'm scared of, though? I guess that's the other question. Like, I could give you Mana Nexus, which I don't care about. I could give you Targeted Removal, which I don't care about. I could give you Locomotiver, which I don't care about. I could give you Terror Pit, which I don't care about. Yeah, screw it. There's no reason to draw this out.
I feel like, okay, I did get the Locomotiver, which I feel like out of anything is what I probably want to see. But is it enough? Would you Emerald? I don't think it is.
I'm not even scared of another or actually, you already peaked, whatever. Go for it. I forgot you had an Emerald Shield. I probably should have did that.
Alright, well, it's a Mana Nexus.
Alright.
And I'm gonna put Mana Nexus down so I can maybe buy some time.
Alright, that's fine. Go ahead.
I'll draw my Bloody Squeedo back. I forgot this thing was on top of my deck. Dang it.
I did not.
Show me what you put down.
It's Mana Nexus.
Okay, I kind of figured that.
We'll put down another Mana Nexus.
You have so much mana. Go ahead.
Yep. That was also why I said Terror Pit to mana. And when you hit this, I can just put the Terror Pit in the shields.
Yeah, or the Holy Awe if I somehow get like a bunch of Locomotivers or something.
Right, we will send Holy Awe to mana. We will tap 4 for Thrash Crawler, picking up Illusionary Merfolk.
Okay.
We will tap 5, play Illusionary Merfolk, draw even more cards.
Yep, I do not like my odds right now. This is kind of ugly.
Corile will swing at Locomotiver.
I will block the Cyberlord.
Alright, my Corile dies. Corile will swing at Locomotiver.
Locomotiver dies.
Corile will swing at Shield 7.
Yeah, this one is the one that you know is a Mana Nexus, so we're gonna put down Terror Pit.
Right. Emerald will swing at Shield 6.
Yeah, that's gonna be my other Mana Nexus. I'm gonna put down Fairy Life.
Okay. Bronze Arm Tribe will swing at Fairy Life.
I'm gonna play the Fairy Life. God, this deck just gets so many shields. This is kind of ridiculous.
Locomotiver, I guess, will swing at the Terror Pit. I mean,
alright.
I don't really know what I'm scared of at this point, but...
I mean, I can't really get rid of the blocker because I'm gonna die. I'll get rid of the Merfolk.
Sure. Go ahead.
I don't think there's any draw that's gonna help.
Yeah, I don't...
It's certainly not Fairy Life. Alright, yeah, you got it. It doesn't matter what my shields are. I mean, I guess those are cracked and nobody saw that.
Okay, sure.
No, it's fine. Keep going, keep going.
Alright, I mean, I still don't think it matters. But,
oh, no, it absolutely, there's no possible situation it matters.
And we'll send Emerald to the meta zone. We will tap 3 for Aqua Hulkus. We will tap for Bronze Arm Tribe.
I'm just shocked that you haven't found the Cryptic Totems yet.
I guess, yeah, I haven't, I mean, it's not like Shield 7 is a Cryptic Totem either. I guess you know that's a Mana Nexus, actually. Like, they're both at the bottom of my deck. But, I mean, I don't think it really matters what you have at this point. So, hang on. Aqua Hulkus and Bronze Arm. Okay, so Corile will hit Shield 4.
Alright, and that is the Terror Pit, so let's just Terror Pit the other Corile.
Okay. And we've got Holy Awe Gotems here, even if you have Holy Awe.
Oh, Holy Awe! Who saw it coming? Who saw it coming?
Okay, I mean... Alright, answer my board, go ahead.
I got it. Boom! Holy Awe number 2.
Oh no, all my creatures are double tapped now.
Yeah, if they double tap, they die. Alright, GG. Game 2, game 2. All right, honestly, going first and getting the ramp helped so much. I feel like going second was.
It really depends what your draws are, quite honestly. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like it's such a draw dependent thing on this. I think
this is a deck that would really, or at least a matchup where it would really benefit from Kaijudo rules, where you can look at your hand first.
Right,
if
yeah.
you got Fairy Life, Bronze Arm, Tribe, Lost Soul, then just go first and get into the Lost Soul. And, I mean, do what I did to you last game. But otherwise, I mean, I don't know.
I think I'm gonna go first though.
All
We're gonna
right,
mix it up.
Yeah,
Mix it up.
We'll see how it plays out.
This is a hand, all right. All right, we're gonna play Mana Nexus to Mana. Go ahead.
We're gonna put Mana Nexus to Mana. Go ahead.
God, what a classic! What the heck? I'm gonna put I almost called it Sniper Mosquito. Bloody Squeedo.
That is a different card, yeah. This is the same thing I did game 1. We'll send Illusionary Merfolk to Mana. Go ahead.
I'll draw. I will send Terror Pit to Mana. Go ahead.
Okay, didn't see that one.
No, this is this hand is a hand. I can tell you that much for certain.
Right, we'll send Thrash Crawler to Mana. We will play Bronze Arm Tribe.
Yep.
Again, we get the Bloody Squeedo to the Mana Zone with the
What
first
a good
ramp.
Bronze Arm.
Unlock Darkness in our Mana Zone. Go ahead.
What the heck is this game? I want to play Bloody Squeedo to Mana and end my turn.
What are you...
This is so bad!
You have to have, like, Lost Soul or something.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not sure it's possible to have a worse draw with this deck. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's not over. I can draw water mana eventually, right? Or anything.
This is like
that
the
can be
opposite position. Now it kind of makes sense for me to go in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
At the same
we'll
time,
send
like,
Cryptic
oh my
Totem
God.
to the Mana Zone.
Well, you finally found it.
And yeah, we will play Aqua Hulkus.
Yep.
And do we go in? That's the question.
I
Already
honestly,
put you...
like, it could go either way. Like, there's so many variables that just like depend on this.
Yeah, I mean, I've already put you on Lost Soul, and like I kind of wanna put pressure on you so it's harder to Lost Soul, but I mean that didn't work out in your position in the last game either. You don't have Bronze Arm. You would have played it. You might have Aqua Hulkus. Might have Corile. Maybe you have like Corile and Merfolk, and you don't want to send either of them to Mana.
This is honestly like one of those times where I can't wait to tell you all about my hand after the game.
I think I'm gonna pass for now. I don't want to like give you something like hitting Locomotiver feels really bad, for example.
I'm literally dying.
Oh jeez.
I'm gonna charge the Merfolk and end my turn.
Okay.
I
Now,
can't believe it.
now I think I'm content to start trying. Okay.
How does it get this bad with a mid-range
We're gonna
deck?
play Cryptic Totem. Yeah, and we're just gonna try and win the game. Aqua Hulkus is going in.
I'm gonna Holy Awe.
Okay, that's by far not the worst thing you could have done.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, I guess we won't win next turn, but go ahead.
I'll draw.
I do like have to Terror Pit this Cryptic Totem, I feel like.
I'm absolutely gonna Terror Pit the Cryptic Totem.
Right.
But will it make a difference? I'm not sure.
We'll send Mana Nexus to Mana.
Okay.
We will play Energy Stream.
Alright.
We will play Locomotiver, try and hit the Lost Soul.
You got
That is a Lost Soul. You may have... This deck is running 2 Lost Souls. You might have the other one. Even if you do have the other Lost Soul, you'll still be sitting on, like, 1 card in hand. There's not much you could do to punish me here either, quite honestly. I think we're just gonna keep the pressure up. Like, without mass removal, it's... Okay, I guess that's a thing.
We're gonna Locomotiver. We're gonna discard a Terror Pit, which is not too bad. And we get the 1k power creature, which could be worse.
Yeah, so now swinging with Bronze Arm Tribe is a bit worse, I think. Okay, you could just trade that off. And I'm not going to give you So like even if I pass and you lost soul me, then I can just go in on my next turn and still hopefully bring you down to no shields. I mean, my trigger luck has been awful already. But yeah, I think we're gonna end here.
Alright, I'm gonna draw.
I guess I only have 2 cards in hand. This isn't really a fantastic lost soul in the first place.
No, it's really not.
But
I feel like it's probably the best play. I can't imagine Terra pitting one of those is more worth it. So let's just Lost Soul and see what we get. Corile Mana
All right.
Nexus. Could be worse. I mean, at this point, I have to assume that I've got something good in my shields anyways, so...
I mean, it's a bit of an awkward play, but I mean, I think we're just pushing for the win. We're gonna play Illusionary Merfolk. I don't have a Cyber Lord, but Aqua Hulkus will hit Shield 3.
Yep, he gets it.
Bronze Arm will hit Shield 4.
He gets it.
Loco will hit Shield 5.
He gets it.
Alright,
I don't
this
think
deck
there's-
is gonna be hard-pressed.
There is nothing in this deck that could get me out of this. That's gonna be the game. This hand was so bad. Oh my, okay, let me just... This was my hand, alright? Where was it? What else was in it? I finally drew the blue man. I was sitting on that. I had like... I could have summoned the Bloody Squeedos, but I didn't really care at that point because you didn't have anything on board, and like...
Right.
What else was I gonna do? I think I had a Mana Nexus maybe, but like... I couldn't do anything. I was... My hand was the 2 Terra Pits, 2 Lost Souls, and I'm top decking with no blue mana, and then I drew the Illusionary Merfolk.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, like,
oh
you could
my
have played
God.
the Bloody Squeedos, but, like, you take out one of my creatures. I don't think that would have even helped you that
No,
much
I don't
with
even
this
think it would have.
position.
I needed to have like a, I don't know, better shields. Even though I had the Locomotiver and the Holy Awe, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, no,
That
I
hand
mean,
was
like,
just atrocious.
Ultimate, like, I drew the Energy Streams, the Aqua Hulkuses, and the Bronze Arm Tribes, and you didn't.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
much
kind of what it feels
happened.
like. All right, let's I'll just reset the game here really quick. I guess we only need one person to put this deck on the field because we did say it's the exact same deck.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'll just slap it down.
I'll start putting it out too, but I mean, it's not a big deal.
Or I can just slap it in post. No, we'll just put it down. It's fine.
It is interesting that we had like 5 different Water Dark Nature control decks, including one from CVH himself, and both of us opted for this one.
This one looked the most well-rounded to me, and it was winning like the Georgia tournaments at the time, which were like considered one of the hardest metas probably.
Yeah.
Like that's where all the tournament report fiends were. And the player that piloted this, Steven Cantrell, was like #1 in the state at the time and was kind of winning everything. So I trusted his meta calls.
Yeah, no,
Unfortunately,
honestly,
when it comes down
I
to
picked
mirror
this 'cause
match,
it
it's
looked
yeah.
best, honestly.
Yeah. It's
Which I
just so
actually-
well-rounded. You just like don't want to draw how I drew.
Right.
But I feel like that's very rare because like if you look at what you can draw, like you have so many early game plays with the Energy Streams, Fairy Lives, Aqua Hulkus, Emeralds, but I just somehow didn't have any of it. But that's just how
Yeah.
card games go sometimes.
Yeah,
Like sometimes you just can't draw.
sometimes you just don't draw the cards, yeah.
It's a kind of disappointing because this is a fun deck to play, and I got to play it game 1, I guess, but game 2 I barely got to play.
Yeah.
We did get to see the power of like how it kind of is like the thing I really like about this deck is that like you can play it as a control deck, you can play it as tempo, like it's very versatile.
Right.
You can do a lot
I
with
mean,
it.
like you were saying in the games, it really does depend a lot on how you draw.
Yeah. Like if you get the early progression, you can just start going in. If you get like the advantage builders, you can just build advantage and win on that. The only thing that like it feels like is a major weakness is that like there's no mass removal. So once you're getting a lot of creatures on board, like I kind of knew I was already dead because like what am I gonna
Right.
do? Like Terra Pit your guys one by one?
Yeah.
Like I feel like
there's not even that much removal in general. Like you
Right.
really.
You
I,
have to,
I
like,
even
you
think
need
I
the progression.
underestimated it. You like need to kind of get to the board early. So like if you can't deal with your opponent's board, you can threaten to like
Yes.
kill their
Yeah.
creatures if they go in, or just go at their shields and win the game in response or something.
And that's something I kind of mentioned in my deck profile, how like you have the 2 copies of Energy Stream, right? A lot of other decks at the time were running like, oh my god, Energy Stream is so broken, it's Pot of Greed, play 4 of it. But like realistically in this deck, you'd probably much rather be playing the Aqua Hulkus or the Bronze
Yeah,
Arm Tribe
I
on
definitely
turn 3.
think so.
Like, you need to get the
Especially
field
after playing
presence.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
So like that's why I mentioned, like, I think 2 of the energy stream. It's like, it's enough in this deck. You don't need more.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
good
the
for when you get the
flip
hands where
side-
you can't draw anything good, but yeah.
I get, like, the flip side of that, though, is kind of like, imagine playing this deck against Dark Water Fire control. Like, you've got to get to the board early, and you're kind of like doing things like we saw in this game. Then your opponent just slaps down Searing Wave, and it's like, oh,
Right. That's
well,
why I
this
feel
is
like
awkward.
that's why, like, the tempo plays can be good, though, because remember, like, Searing Wave you have to give up a shield for, and that's like the earliest kind of mass removal that you're weak to. So if you get like the Emerald into Aqua Hulkus into like Locomotive or something, by the time they're Searing Waving you, you've already done a pretty decent damage on their shields, and now they're at like nothing, and it's really easy to threaten lethal when you're just playing all this other stuff in there.
Yeah, that is true, and that's kind of like how you have to play this matchup. I think it is a bit Dark Water Fire control in general.
And
Also
also
unwinnable by any stretch of the imagination, though.
Yeah. So I kind of
mean-
talk about this in the intro to this video, that like at the beginning of this meta, the Dark Water Fire controls weren't as well polished as they are like later on down the road. They're kind of like finding their footing a little bit in the beginning. So that lets like these other kind of decks come in and start doing damage early. But then once the Dark Water Fire control decks start to find their footing, they just become a lot more solid, and they just slowly like push out all these other decks like this, just like out of the metagame.
Yeah, they like completely took over, and I mean, this was after set 8, but like by the time people were, by the time Continentals came around, like I think like half the field was probably running Dark Water Fire control at that. Well,
It was just like,
maybe not, because I guess there were. That was kind of like the type of event where like some people were really familiar with the competitive metagame and some weren't. So I don't know.
Because you have to keep in mind, like, this was the old days where net decking was a lot harder. So you had the people that were like following like the tournament reports coming out of Georgia, for example, but like not everyone really was, and it wasn't really easy to find the tournament winning lists. So like what was going on in California and what was going on in Georgia were probably completely different. But like as people were getting ready for the Continentals and stuff, we started to like kind of start moving towards like the Dark Water Fire era. And like
definitely.
Things were kind of coming together at that point, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So yeah, that was anyways, that's Thundercharge of Ultra Destruction. We did get to play some Thundercharge cards. We each had 2 copies of Cryptic Totem, which, I mean, I guess technically that kind of unlocks
in this episode, but
yeah,
that's okay.
But it's cool because it kind of unlocked playing this as like an archetype that's viable. So that was neat.
Right.
Next week is the era of the Continental Championships itself. So you guys don't want to miss that. We're going to have a special episode for you guys, unlike any you've ever seen before. So please look forward to that. We'll catch you guys next week at the 2005 North America Continental Championships in Los Angeles, California. Be there or be square. Peace.